Hey guys, so this video we're just going to be discussing some of the better equips that Android 13 has access to and what you should be prioritizing when you're upgrading or just looking for equipment to farm for this guy. So Fusion 13, as the name suggests, his post-revive form is a fusion warrior, but unfortunately Legends has this tendency to not give these units the tags of their post-transformation. And Fusion 13 has the Fusion Warrior tag, but pre-revive Android 13 does not, which is unfortunate. This has been an issue in the past, too. Let's just say with like, I don't know who comes to the top of the list. Maybe the revival Gohan from Saiyan Saga, the Gohan and Piccolo that revives into just Gohan. That was an issue because then the Gohan wouldn't be getting the Zenkai buffs post revive from regen units. Synchro gauge units, the Vegito and the Gogeta, they did actually give the tags of the Fusion Warriors to the pre-synchro gauge, but I'm not sure why they haven't continued that. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, that's obviously a bummer. He doesn't have access to Fusion Warrior equipment. In terms of the way you want to build him, I honestly think you can go either way. So he obviously, if you take a look at his max stats, he doesn't have the best offenses at all. 259, 256, and then after transformation goes up a significant amount, 268, 265, but his defenses are also pretty good. So honestly, you can go either way, either offensive or defensive, and if you're looking for an offensive build, you can either go strike or blast, just depending on the type of team. So right now, the tags that he has access to is movies, androids, and powerful opponent. Androids and powerful opponent are predominantly blast, with like what, full power Frieza, the Gammas, Ultra Cell. Sagas from the movies is a little more strike based, so honestly just his build will depend on the way your team is shaped. Now I have an androids team here, that's what I've been using 13 on since I've gotten him, and Gammas, they don't do the craziest damage, but they also don't defend that well besides the mini disrupt that they have. Cell can do a lot of damage, but you know, he's a few months old. He's pre 7th anniversary, so he's getting power prepped. But if I were to choose, I would probably build 13 on the Android setup more defensive, because that's what the Android setup needs. I know I have a bunch of offensive equipment on him because I've just been testing everything. The reason also that you could go offensive with 13 is just because, I mean, his blue card damage, 100, what, 30% to Super Saiyan Goku characters? Yeah, 130. So that's a lot. Obviously that's a lot. So you could prioritize blue card damage in his kit or in his equipment, and that could also be useful. But honestly, it's up to your discretion. You can go either way with them. I'm gonna have to test both offensively and defensively, and obviously this guy's at low stars for me, so I need to get him up some more. Which means if you're at lower stars, you're gonna have to prioritize base offensive defense instead of pure, although you can still use pure. So what I have in my browser is just a few equipment. What is that? Like a little more than 10 that I can suggest you upgrade for him. Now obviously you guys can pick and choose, you don't have to follow what I'm saying. And I'll begin with the quote-unquote must runs, the ones I believe you should be prioritizing for this equipment, or for this unit. And the first one being this one. This equipment released with 13 this Tuesday, and it's a solid equipment, actually, pretty good. For androids and movies members, it's giving you 10% HP, 30% of either blast or strike base attack, either or, and then 15% to own strike and blast attack with battle member other than this character's both android and movies. So yeah, that's a pretty big restriction. I mean, we can just go ahead and take a look here. Androids and movies. Let's see. Episodes. And then droids. That's not a big list for those that are meta right now. I believe the only two that you can use right now are going to be the Gammas and these guys, which I have not rolled yet. So if you're using, if you're using one or the other, that is 100% a must run. 100%. It's giving you a bunch of base stats, giving you a bunch of pure stats and HP as well, so that's a pretty strong equip for him. And I am using that right now, so I need to upgrade it a little more. The second equip is going to be another one that came out with the Android 13, and it is going to be Undetectable Monsters. Oh, just to mention, this is, I believe, a co-op equipment. Let me just check real quick. I believe it's a co-op equipment. Yeah, it is. So, keep in mind, it's going to be a little difficult to get a good roll of that, especially right now, since they didn't release a co-op or not a co-op, a Mega Bonanza or anything. For some reason, even though they released like 4 new equipment. Very smart move, Legends. But yeah, so this is the second equipment. This is a pretty strong one as well. It's giving 15% both base defenses, 30% blast attack, and 15% to own blast attack if an android other than this character's battle member. So this is a little less restrictive. You can use this if you're running him next to, outside of the Gammas and the 13 or the 14 and 15. You can use him next to Ultra Cell, which I believe is the only other viable android. Let me check that as well. That sounds right, outside of the movies androids. Well, MVP 17, you can get away with using him, but he's getting power prep defensively and, full power Frieza is doing numbers on this. Purple LF Cell, the old one, the Zenkai one, nah. Yeah, that looks like Super 17. Maybe you can get away just because how annoying he is, but no defenses whatsoever. So yeah, Ultra Cell and MVP 17 are going to be your best bet if you're not running a movies android. So this equipment is a little less restrictive in that department. It is also solid. If I were to choose, obviously this one's stronger, the co-op equipment. But this one is probably going to be easier to obtain because it is part of the new event that they released for this Red Ribbon Army celebration. And it's fairly easy to get the exchange item for this. If you have some androids members, you'll get extra drops. And it's only, what, like 3 of the exchange items per. So it's not as hard, but again, the rolls are going to be tough to get. This would also be a must run if you're running a blast variant for androids, which is what you should be doing. This one is the unique equipment that came out next to Ultra Cell. Again, another co-op equipment, so it's going to be kind of hard to roll if you don't have it yet. For powerful opponent or Cell Saga, it's giving 15% base blast attack, 25% base blast defense, and then 15% to own strike and blast attack pure when battle style or ranged and character Cell as a battle member. So obviously next to Ultra Cell. This could be a good equipment, double pure offenses and base blast attack along with a little bit of blast defense. This could be good if you're looking for a more offensive build, which again, up to your discretion. Not as necessary as I'd say these two, but still pretty decent equipment. This one, this is an Awakened equipment. You will die along with the Earth. This came out recently as well. This might have been... Was this next to Ultra Cell? I believe so. It's for either regen or androids. It's giving 15% base strike attack, 20% base blast attack, and then 10% HP and special move and ultimate damage. Obviously, 13 doesn't have an ultimate, so you're not going to be able to get much value out of this last stat here, but 10% special moves is going to be very important for 13. Health is always nice, and a little bit of offenses. This is a very well-rounded equipment. It's giving double offense, a little bit of defense through the health, and special move. So if you're looking for a base stat equipment, if I just go through all this here, I believe that's probably your base or your best step. Probably gonna be your best base stats equipment. The next few are gonna be just kind of, if you don't have any other options, then this is okay to run. This is for powerful opponent. It's giving you special move and ultimate damage, and then 10% to pure strike and blast attack when 3 battle members are powerful opponent, and then 18% both base defenses. Now, as for powerful opponent, you have a few options you can run. The main one being obviously full power Frieza. This is more of an offensive equipment. You can run this guy next to the yellow full power Frieza. You can run him next to revival Frieza, maybe, if you want to double revive, but again, double blue is not going to work too well against full power Frieza. Full power Frieza, who else is there? Ultra Cell, obviously droids and powerful opponent are going to overlap a bit. And those are the two main options. You could get away with running the Saiyan Saga Vegeta, but he's becoming power crept as well. And we do not speak of this guy. Although that setup could be annoying. Triple comeback and a double revive, or just a revive. So yeah, if you have a full powerful opponent setup, this is decent. Now, I will say the stats on this one aren't as great as the usual club equipment. 10% pure offenses and 18% base defenses isn't the greatest, but this is still an alright equipment. Next equipment, then Die Here Fool. This is the unique equipment that released with Ultra Turles. Yes, for a powerful opponent in blue, giving a bunch of offenses here. Base blast attack 23%, strike attack 30%, then more blast attack and health restoration. Health restoration can be important because every time this guy switches out, he's healing himself and his team. So the 12% health restore could help with that. He's getting a mix of base, blast, and strike attack. That's totaling what? 38% blast attack and 30% strike attack. So if you're looking for a more offensive build, this can definitely help with that. Now, again, not as much defense on this one, but still decent equipment. Not as much of a variety of stats as you usually get. Still good. This is an awakened equipment. I cannot remember what this released alongside, but it's for movies and critical attacks, whatever. Strike attack 25%, another 12% strike attack special move, and health restoration. Again with the health restoration, again with the special move. You guys know why that's good for 13. And he's getting, what is this, 37% strike attack. So if you have a more offensive strike build, maybe with, I don't know, 14 and 15, and then whoever else, this is a decent equipment. Nothing crazy though, I would say. This one, this is an awakened unique equipment for sagas in blue. This is a more definitely heavily defensive, 20% strike defense, 30% blast defense, and then health and health restoration. This is very defensive. But if you're looking to go along that route, this is a very solid equipment. Maybe his best defensive equipment here. In my list, at least one of them. Giving a good amount of base defenses along with the HP health restoration combo. Nothing much more to say about this one. It is a little basic. It is a little basic, but sometimes basic is best, no? Next up, this is for androids, or pure androids team. Special move, health restoration. Again, both good stats to have with 13, and then he's getting 12% base strike and blast attack, and then 12% pure strike and blast attack if you have 3 battle members that are androids. Again, this equipment has been a little power prep in its stats. 12% base blast and strike attack isn't really what you're looking for nowadays. Usually it's up to 20, 18, around there. But overall, a good mix of equipment if you're looking for a more offensive route. Dr. Giro's computer, it is an awakened equipment that released again with 13. This is pretty solid. It's for androids, you can choose between base strike or blast attack up to 30%. You can get 15% both defenses, and then you can get 10% to your own defenses if an android, other than this character, is a battle member. This is more defensive. If you want a more defensive route for this guy, pretty solid equipment. I wish, if they were going to go defensive route, I wish the slot 1 could have given HP, or even slot 2, or hell, even slot 3, you know? HP on here would have made this a very good equipment, but with how it is right now, it's alright, nothing crazy. Another defensive equipment, special move, ultimate damage from not getting anything. 10% special move is off, you know, good for this guy. 12% base offenses, and then 15% defenses, pure defenses if an android outside of 13 is a battle member. This could be decent, nothing crazy. Movies, special move 10%, 25% base defenses, and then 10% to pure strike and blast attack when 3 battle members are movies members. You could get away with running this. This is an alright equipment. The 25% base defenses, I feel is more valuable than the 10% offenses, but again, up to you. You call that a punch. This is also for movies. 20% of either strike or blast base defenses. And you're getting 20% strike attack, 20% blast attack, and then 10% to own strike defense when 3 battle members are movies. That's pretty much just the opposite of this one. Yeah, just flip the offensive defense. Minus 5% for the base offenses. Alright equipped if you're looking for a more defensive, this could be good, but the 10% is kind of throwing me off here, so I wouldn't use this. Alright, this should be fun. Awaken equipment from way back. This was like the second unique or awaken equipment, I believe. I don't know, it's early on. You're getting 16.5% to both offenses. You're getting 12.5% HP, and then 6% to blast defense for each tag android battle member. This is a very strong clip. 12.5% HP. You don't usually see that much anymore. 6% to blast defense up to 18% pure blast. This could be very strong against someone like Full Power Frieza, or even Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. It blast defense, you know, 18% pure. If you have other defensive equipment, this could be a very strong clip. I still use this equip on units like MVP 17 whenever I go around to using him. Overall solid. I like this equipment a lot. This is also an old Awaken equipment. 25% to both base defenses, and then 5% HP and 15% special move. 5% HP is a little low, albeit, but the 15% special move is going to be very impactful for how hard you're going to be hitting those Super Saiyan Gokus with 13. This is an alright equipment. I wouldn't say this is necessary in the slightest, but if you have it and you don't have anything else better, this is also good. This one. This is the PvP equipment that came out with He Who Must Not Be Named. This is 20% blast defense base, 12% HP, that's good, 15% strike defense, and then 15% to own strike defense if an episode movies member, other than this character battle member. A little restrictive, but it's giving a bunch of defensive stats, so it could be useful. It could be useful, 100%, if you meet the conditions. And that's pretty much all. I'm probably missing a few here and there, but if just to recap, this equipment that released with 13 and this equipment that released with 13 are pretty much must runs. This one only if you're going on a blast build. This one's good with Cell. This one's probably your best offensive base equipment. And everything else is just, you know, if you don't have anything better. If you don't have anything better, you can just use one of these. If I were to choose what I would build him as, I honestly do not. I cannot tell you right now. On androids, they probably do need more of a defensive character, just because Ultra Cell's really squishy. Gammas are kind of on the fence, and 13's their only defensive tech, I guess, outside of Cell's endurance. And albeit he does have cover null. But you could make the argument that since he's a revive character, you don't really need to focus as much on his defenses. But either way works. If I were looking at powerful opponent, you could also make him more defensive because Full Power Frieza is probably going to do a lot of the damage that you need. and it's going to be a good counter to just wall off Super Saiyan Goku and Ultra Vegeta. But again, it's up to you. I don't think it matters as much, especially at low stars for me, because he's not going to be tanking or dealing the most damage in the first place. But let me know if you guys found this helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.